Welcome back to the KnivesFAST channel. Guys, it's time for a budget knife review, but first you have to say hello. Well, you don't have to. I mean, I would like you to say hello to Ren and Simpy and Powdered Toast Man and Log and TV, and let's get started, guys. Just want to show off this really cool budget option. Now, it's a small one, which means it's not necessarily for me, but it's a pretty cool knife because I like knives that are able to contain the blade down in the handle when they're closed, because that means it's going to carry very small in your pocket, which this one does, except for one little thing, which we'll talk about in a moment. This is the B'yond EDC. These came through the Apex Pass Around group. I have two different B'yond EDC knives. There's no name written here, but you can see there the number and the color, which is JG10. And this is the Linear, the B'yond EDC Linear. Kind of a very small, very cool knife. You can see handle-wise, it is a right at a four-finger knife, but just that. But we'll talk again. There's a little something there different than that. We'll talk once it's open. Handle-wise, you do have contoured scales, a little close to 90 on the edges, but there is definitely a contoured hump in the middle, and you can see the layers of G10. You got this V pivot. I'm not sure. It's B'yond EDC, so maybe that's supposed to be a Y. I don't know what that is, but you got the tooling over here and decorated pivot as well. Now, this clip, by the way, these screws back here for the back spacer do stand out just slightly. At least one of them does, but it's because of that contouring. The pocket clip is tip up left to right. You do have a filler plate, but it is definitely not a deep carry. As a matter of fact, you have quite a bit sticking out. Now, you guys are saying, you always say you don't mind having some sticking out of the pocket, but when the knife is this small, you have kind of when you bump that whole knife, you understand what I'm saying? There's not enough in the pocket compared to what's outside the pocket. So I just wish it was a little deeper. You do have a really cool back spacer with a lanyard hole built into it. You could also like whack stuff with it if you wanted to, although it's a pretty small knife. So let's flip this blade out. Oh, wait, one more thing while I'm back here. No jimping on the flipper tab. Decent shape. Comes right out, no problem whatsoever. Now, blade, you have the B'yond EDC logo here. You got really nice swedging up here. It is a drop point. Man, it is just cool. You do have a really, really nice sharpening choil, really big there, but not a finger choil. You do have D2 steel in this, really cool stonewash SA19, is that a Q or a 0? Man, focus 05. Really cool. But when we get back here now, we can talk about this. So it is 4 fingers, but again, that flipper tab kind of keeps me from having quite as big of a grip as I would like to, but not too bad. It's just, and of course, some of this is going to kind of jab me right here, and it's not bad. The clip, you don't feel it, and maybe that's why they did it the way they did. It doesn't ride up into your finger like some smaller knives do, especially slender, because it's kind of in that no man's land there. Nice landing spot here, but if you want to go forward, that swedging does feel a little bit tight. Nice blade, and guys, I have cut with this just basic opening packages and opening packages and stuff, nothing big. And the steel, whatever the word is, performed, thank you, good grief, very, very well. Now, you do have a flat grind, but it is very short. But you have fairly thin blade stock, and it comes down. Oh, by the way, you can see the tip thickens up and then narrows down a little bit. You do have, a fairly nice slicey blade, but it is a little thick, but not too bad. It cuts pretty well for basic EDC tasks, which is what I would expect we would all want to use this little tiny guy for. Now, my biggest problem, there is zero access to that lock bar. It is not good. I mean, you have to cram your thumb in there. I don't care for that at all. This would be Yeah, I mean, it's iffy for me because of that. Now, action-wise, it pops right out. Good detent. comes on down with a couple of shakes. I'd call it slightly off to the show side here, but lockup is good. No lock, rock, or blade play, like 45% probably. But again, there is some chamfering there, but now what happens is I have a fat enough finger that some of it is getting down in here. So when I start to push, it's pinching my finger. There's just not enough room, guys. I will say the detent's in a good spot. So when you do clear, you're going to go down. So that's good. So let's do our comparisons here that I've been using a lot lately. A lot of people ask me for these, so I started doing comparisons. That is my Ontario Rat 1, which you can see is significantly longer handle and blade. And there is the Rat 2, which is also a little bit longer in the blade and the handle. So this is a pretty small knife. Now, I always like to sometimes put out the Mach 51 because you guys know, I know the exact measurements of this one. It is an 8-inch knife, 4.5-inch handle, 3.5-inch blade. So that'll kind of show you where we're at with this one as well. So let's put these away and we can talk specs for a moment. Now, I don't see this JG101 on White Mountain Knives, but I do see, by the way, this came from the Apex Pass Around group, and it's available many places. Like I see them at Knife Center. At Knife Center, you can get a blue one, a black one, and a JG10 one for $38. And, pretty good for that. At White Mountain Knives, if you want to use my 10% off code, the only one I see is black, and they are $39.99. So, there you go. There are your options for this. So let's talk about specs. It's not a lot here. Blade length is 3 inches. And really, let me go over here to Knife Center and see if we've got some more specs listed here because I'm not finding them over where I was there. There we go. 2.68 on the blade length, 2.56 on the cutting edge. Close length is 3.78, so there's your handle. Overall length 6.45, so again, pretty small. D2 steel, 0.13 on the thickness. The pinion and the Mach 51 are both 0.12, so that kind of gives you, a little comparison there because I've shown those. They call it a clip point. Again, I guess you can say that. To me, it's a drop, but okay. There's so many fuzzy math on blade shapes these days, but whatever. Again, you can dye this guy if you get this JG10 one, any color you'd want, pretty much. The weight is 3 ounces. It has caged bearings, tip up left and right, and the handle thickness is 1/2 inch. So, again, a pretty cool knife, but again, for me, guys, a small knife has to have good ergos, and that's why I'm digging Spyderco's for small knives and Finches, because the ergos give me plenty of room to do what I need to do. This one is not quite there, and then you got that the lock bar access issue. So just really interesting little knife. We're going to have another B'yond EDC coming up, and really appreciate getting to have a chance to look at this one. So let me know what you think in the comments. Give me a thumbs up. And guys, thanks so much for all you do and for watching the Knives Fast channel.